is Michael from Popi's Pumphouse Productions. And thank you for being here, Michael.
Oh, thanks for having me on here. I think it's
Yeah.
awesome what you're doing. A great idea doing this channel, doing these interviews with people. Super cool.
Oh, well, it's, I think that a lot of the bucket bots generally, we'll have an inspiring story from Buckethead or something that has really affected us in like many different ways. But everyone's story is so unique and it's so profound, and I think it's beautiful. And your work, number one, right? If you have not seen Becoming Buckethead, right, this is a series that Michael has made, and it is incredible. It's 4 episodes, but I'll let Michael tell us about it. Really incredible, but this is just sort of one of the examples of, I guess, how Buckethead has affected, all of us in the Buckethead community. So, yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna go to my notes because unlike real professional people, I'm not. I absolutely have no idea.
I got a few here in case I need them.
Well, so these are my questions. I've got 2 sheets of them. But yeah, let's start with the first question. So this was, what inspired you to start creating films in general, and when did you start?
Films in general. Well, I say probably when the first thing I ever did when I was probably 15 years old. I had a little flip video camera, just a little 2 AA batteries in there. It'll probably work for 30 minutes before the batteries die. And
Yeah.
me and a friend just did a little short film, no talking in it. Put it in black and white. It was just sort of this weird little, I don't know, just strange little short film that was probably like 8 minutes long about this little haunting thing that was going on at this house, this thing haunting this guy. And I don't know what really gave me the idea to start doing it to begin with, but after we did that, just the art of like chopping it up and putting it together and making the sound fit and just seeing where it should cut and the right timing where it should go to the next visual on screen, it just got me addicted right away.
There is something to that. Like, but by all means, Michael's like pro. Seriously, check out his YouTube channel, and I'll link that below. But in terms of me being an amateur with this stuff, I know you mean it's like the same, and I think it's got something to do with, that vibe.
Yeah.
You see it immediately, and you just have fun playing with it. You watch it back, you're like, oh.
Yeah, you just get something out of it.
Yeah. So this means you're a natural at it. This is when you're sort of bored to do things, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like when I was a young teenager, I started out with music, playing guitar and stuff, and making little songs and stuff, and just recording stuff. But I don't know, it's something about the video. Like I said, it's just, I don't know, it's just something that, I don't know, I just can't stop doing it.
Yeah, no, I love it. Keep going. Don't stop, because it's like, before I go to my next questions, right? What I watched Mossman, and that was cool too. And I think it's I think your ideas are you can tell that they're like innovative. So they're very much your creative imagination in there, but you can see it because it's so different from the general ideas of let's say many films or horror films. And I think one thing I love, really quick, I'll just insert this. I love how you work with certain angles of the camera, right, and certain lighting, and even like just those shots. This is where this is the art of film. This mood through it though, like you can feel what the character is feeling.
Oh, I appreciate that. The angles and stuff, yeah. I don't know, yeah, that's like one of the, whenever I'm making something, well, Mossman, that came from, it started out, the main team is me, my wife, and my brother-in-law. And several of the videos I made, and Mossman for sure, he'll just send me an audio track. Like, it's just him making some noise in the studio. Like, something that you wouldn't even think is an instrument. You know, it's like a guitar pickup, and he's like banging some metal on it, and it makes a crazy sound. And I got headphones on, and I'm like, oh, well, that's in the woods, that's in the jungle, and
Yeah,
it creates it in my mind, and I just see the shots, and it's all the collaboration for me. Like when I hear something or the inspiration for something, it just kind of, I can just see it scene for scene based on the other artist's music or what they've put into it.
yeah. There's gosh, I want to keep asking more questions, but there is one in there that's I might just go to this one first then because it follows on really well. And that was literally, yeah, do you find that there's a link between the sound and the visual art? Like or sound and visual in general.
Yeah,
Because when you look at a lot of musicians, some of them will love to paint, like we all know Buckethead does.
yeah,
But a lot of them, love to do that. And then, I think that's it. I like talking to you about this, and it's something that I think is the same. It's if you're great with sound and a great musician with artistry, I think to be able to invoke that visual for someone of that feeling is, that there's got to be a link to it.
yeah. I think so. I mean, it definitely is inspiring for me. I mean, I know I can't do it I could do things by myself, but it wouldn't be the same without the people that surround me. The energy I get from other people. I mean, it just makes me, want to get the stuff done, want to work on it, and I just got when the idea hits, it's like, oh, I'm ready to do this right now. Like, here it is. Let's go do this.
Right? Because it's that excitement, isn't it? The passion.
Yeah.
That Yeah, but I think there's a thing about that too. Is like I mean, you can love something, but when you know it's great and it's super exciting, I think that's when like you want to show people and share it with them because it's hard not to, I guess. Like those feelings of, uh, well, I guess like anything you're excited about, you're like, oh, I have to show this person.
Yeah.
Like,
A lot of
yeah,
times when I make it, I mean, it's almost like everything I make, I'm just making it for myself, really. Like I just make like what I want to see.
but
It's not really so much. I mean, it's great when other people like it, but the idea is always just like, you know, the images I see and stuff. I'm like, oh, I just got to see it. I got to make it because I want to watch it. I want to see it.
yeah, yeah. Um, it's that's the thing though, where I think the the imagination and creativity works well is when like focusing on that. But it's that's probably why too you're 100% there with your ideas and you're so accurate in what you capture, like with emotion and just yeah. It's weird like watching your film. You can feel like this empathy.
Yeah.
For
It
real, it's just very uh it's got a feeling to it, and that's why I think it's truly like
That's so
that
nice of you to say. And
so
like I said, I gotta give credit to my wife and my brother-in-law too, because like most of the ideas are mine, but and I'm to a downfall sometimes too, where it's like sometimes you just gotta have it your way, right? Like, oh, I've already got it planned out perfectly. I've
mhm,
written it down, picture by picture, shot by shot. What's when Buckethead's gonna look like this, and what's it gonna cut to next, this and that. And then you go to do it, and you're doing it exactly how you want. But then my wife Kim will be like, you know, what if we do this angle like this? What if we try this? Or what if we did this with a shadow? Or my brother-in-law Tim, what if I had walked in this way or try that? And even though in my mind sometimes I'm like, I already know how I want it to be, it's like it has to be when they do it, when they add these things in it, and after I see it, it's like, well, it would have never worked if you guys wouldn't have did that. It had to be that way. I needed that. The movie works because of your ideas that you came in and changed some of my ideas, and it just made it that much more better.
oh and I think that's cool because it's like they can see exactly what I guess like exactly the feeling that you had when you thought of
Yeah,
the scenes. And so they're probably just, I think that's cool for someone to immediately go, oh, to be inspired the same way that would get the visual from music is for someone else to look at your work and go, what would really read like extra good here? Like, they're bouncing
yeah,
off your ideas, which is really cool. Mm,
right.
yeah. Well, shout out to them. Well done. Because it does. It flows so well.
Yeah, I mean, and my brother-in-law, you've seen him. He's been almost every video. I mean, he's a great actor. I mean, he's a huge part of it. I mean, his facial expressions, the way he acts, and like, a lot of times he won't have a lot of confidence. Like, should I have done it that much? Am I overacting? I'm like, dude, if you're only seeing what I'm seeing on this camera right now, that was amazing. Now let's do it
Mm-hmm.
9 more. Let's do it 9 more times so I can pick my favorite one.
I love that. Yeah, well, you never know. You can get new shot, or you can still go. Hang on. We might get some.
Right, because sometimes we'll do it and I'll be like, all right, we're done with that shot. He's like, you serious? Like, you don't want to do it again? I'm like, no way. There's no chance I could get a better one than that. That was gold.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I'm gonna pop into my next question though, so I don't
Hmm.
keep trailing. But this is the thing. I always feel like there's got to be a sense of flow with natural conversation somewhere.
Right.
Well, but okay, so next one we'll go into Becoming Buckethead, so the series, and I guess what it means to you and how you came up with that idea, and I got a question then, another one to throw in there,
Hmm.
and that was who was Buckethead in that series?
Childhood Buckethead.
Yeah.
That is my nephew Joshua, and let me tell you, like I said, I don't know, like, how do I say this? Like, every time we work on a project, like when it's a special one like that, it's like all the pieces just perfectly fall in line. I'm like, hey Josh, you want to do a movie? And he's into it, right? And then I start seeing he's more into it than I am. He's got
Yeah.
his face, he's wrapped up in the bandages, and I'm filming him, and the shot's great and everything. Let me do it again, he says. I think I could do better. Let me try it again. He's so into it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I like. Has he done acting before? Or
He's never done anything on camera.
oh, see, there might be something in your family where I don't know, maybe even in a past life you did this before.
Yeah.
But that's cool because there was such a vibe with Becoming Buckethead. That was he was good, like
He was
really good.
good. I mean, it's my favorite project that I've done. I mean, just I don't hardly go back and watch them very often, but whenever I do go back every so many months or whatever, I'll go back and I'll start watching a few of them, and oh man, I just love what if you just watch them back to back, they all have an energy, a vibe to them, a feeling, and I got to just give credit to him on that. I mean, just magical the way he did it, honestly, and he was so into it. And like I said before, like my brother-in-law and my wife having ideas, he was the same way. Like, what if I do it this way? He just wants to try his own thing. And okay, so there's a part where he's looking through the fence hole and he's watching the Texas Chainsaw.
I
And
loved that. That was I'll let you.
so he turns around to do the little solo thing, like he's inspired by watching the Texas Chainsaw. He turns around to play. So he did it a couple times, and then he's like, "Let me do another one." And the whole him dropping down to his knees, looking up, that was all his idea.
Well, yeah, it was. See, maybe you're all just naturals at it because Nick, too. You know what I really liked about that was in general, right? That's well, yeah, almost like a silent film, sort of, except for the very last episode, right? But
Right.
that's the amazing thing is that you have to be good at acting to do anything in silence. Like because it's very much, like when you watch like a good actor, they're in the character. It wouldn't matter if they're talking, just the body language, everything, the
Right.
way they
Yeah,
express it.
he was definitely a natural at it, and so is my brother-in-law. I mean, I'm by no means an actor in any way. Like I try to do the best I can if I'm going to be in something, but in front of the camera, I'm not comfortable. I want to be behind it. You know what I mean?
I will say though, that was oh gosh, and forgive me because I'm forgetting the name of all these consistent ideas in my head right now. Is that it's the basketball one.
That
The
one's the only one I really felt kind of comfortable with.
yeah,
But
you But you were like, I don't know. Again, you were really good in that. Like you had a really good expression. Like when you're like shooting hoops outside,
Mhm.
and then the ball drops just your face and everything, and you're just sort of like I can't do it like you, but like
Oh, you
staring
could
off,
do it,
wait,
but
but you.
I appreciate that. If you only see like all the parts that's chopped out right around that, because every time I'm doing it now, I'm like, is that stupid? Was that good? You know, I'm constantly asking my wife, like, was that any good? Is this dumb? Like, what am I doing?
No, brilliant, brilliant. Like
Thanks.
that was something too, because you could tell it was just like that instant, like there's all of those like I guess thoughts going on in the brain,
Yeah.
right? But you could see it on the face, and then you could see almost that moment of like that moment of angst, like
Yeah.
and then just the way you like run, even like that
Yeah.
gotta get out of here, almost like get out of their space.
Well,
You
thanks. I
know,
mean, honestly, you've given me some of the best compliments. I appreciate it.
what? Oh, no, you're welcome. Because when I get excited about things, I love to elaborate, and that's half of why editing takes me so long. Because I'll just tangent, and but
Yeah.
I can only have a tangent on good things.
Right.
If it's boring, then not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the when you came up, that I you've told me this before, but I love how it happened when you got that idea for becoming Buckethead.
hmm
Want to share how you got that idea? Because it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, kind of weird. I mean, it was like, you ever just wake up like in the morning the first time, as soon as you wake up, sometimes you don't always remember your dreams, but sometimes it's just like, it's almost like you just woke up from the dream, like it just finished and you wake up and it's time to get up. But I just woke up one day and like, of course I didn't dream it shot for shot or anything, but just I guess I had some idea of some dream that childhood buckethead in the chicken coop, and that was enough to be like, oh, of course, why wouldn't I do that? Of course I do
Yeah,
that. He's like my hero. That's, I mean, it doesn't exist, and it should exist.
absolutely. I love that though, because well now it does, but it's awesome. Like I gotta tell, I didn't really know. Well, you know what? I thought looking sort of at I think why is my brain stuck for words now? But the promotion of it, I thought, well, it looks pretty quality, and but it was just different, and it was cool. Like when you watch it, it was sort of that unexpected. I thought it would be good, but this was like that much more. It had all, like I said, it had the empathy in it,
it's
the lighting. It
it's
had that.
something it's something about it. Yeah, I know. I like my brother-in-law says the same thing. It's like, well, you know what, his mom didn't know about Buckethead, my brother-in-law.
Hmm.
She's an older woman, and he showed the series to her, and I think the first episode she might have saw might have been episode 3, and or maybe she watched them in order. I'm not sure, but when she saw him, she was so sad by it. She was like, "That's so sad," it made her so sad for the boy that nobody cares about. He's in the chicken coop, and they just feed him chicken scraps and put a pail of water in there for him to drink. She was just sad to her, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but he's overcoming. He's burning down the chicken coop, and he's getting, he's going on to live his dreams, with his
Yeah.
friends. He's gonna go meet Bootsy Collins. He's gonna go do all these things."
And less people. Yeah. That was cool. There was something. Was it? That was the end of episode 3 with the fire.
Yeah, that was after the Death Cube K nightmare and everything. He woke up and then he's just like, "I gotta get out of here. Let me just destroy this coop, burn it down." And
Yeah. You know what though? That ending, and with the like when he was like burning the coop,
yeah,
that was a sad moment. I
it
don't
is
know.
sad, isn't it? It's really sad. But I
I
love that sad feeling. I like watching stuff and I like listening to stuff. I know it sounds crazy to some people, but I like that sad feeling. I like to feel that character and like, it's just something
Yeah.
about the energy. I don't know. I'm just into it.
Well, it does bring across that feeling. It brings you more into that feeling of realness, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a beautiful series, and the other thing I'd like to point out in that too was, what a really good scene in that was when the chicken bones that's in there, like
Oh, I
in
love that part. Yeah.
there, and his like, I kind of think about, like, dude, that's kind of wait. I get if I swear I'm gonna have to over this, but it's kind of effed up. Like, when you think about it, for him, like, you could get that
Yeah,
across.
he's just thinking like he's gonna get something to eat or something, and then he's like, "Oh, this is like my family here that they're just, you know what I mean?" Yeah.
It's like literally the same feeling that I guess you would have got when you see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and they see like other like bodies and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Right? It had that same feeling where I'm like, oh, like
Yeah.
that's messed up, dude.
And he played that so great too with his acting and everything. He didn't know a lot about Buckethead either. I've showed him clips. I'm talking about my nephew, my little nephew. I mean, he knows like he's an amazing guitar player and stuff like that. But I showed him clips of Buckethead and how Buckethead's kind of stiff and stuff with his, how Buckethead does his when he's on video and stuff. He's all those classic DVDs he had. He's got like his certain way he acts and stuff, like almost like a frightened, little
Yeah,
a child or something, really.
right.
But
And he's always like,
yeah, his fingers are never doing this. They're always just stiff and everything.
yeah, I love it. Yeah. Do they like Buckethead now? Are they more?
They like to
Getting,
watch. Yeah, they love watching like because I'm always on my phone, so they want to get up and see what I'm watching, and they watch all the videos as I flip through. They love seeing them, do the robot dancing and kill switch stuff. I mean, who wouldn't like it?
yeah. I think some of the best footage of him too is like the ones that were in those clips where he's just being him, like in a Young Buckethead and like Secret Recipe. And
Secret Recipe, yeah. But
uh,
go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
what's that?
I said go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I interrupt people all the time, so as a reminder, just let me know to shut up because I have no idea I'm doing it half the time. So,
Yeah, those clips of him you were saying, like the Secret Recipe and stuff.
yeah, like just some of those are so they're beautiful when you watch him. He's just there's something about him. He has a great like pureness and wholesomeness to him, and so even when perfect example because I've been real into this lately is the Young Buckethead DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep watching that scene in the park, and and he's talking about like Backdoor Billy and what he do to Sanders.
Yeah.
It's all of that where you go, dude, that is so sweet. It doesn't even matter what he's talking about, but you can tell.
You can tell he's a good guy.
Yeah, the way he comes across is very genuine, but you can tell it's his like fun and he's loving life.
And the first DVD I ever got from him was I got it at a store called FYE. It was like I'm sure they're still around somewhere, but there was like a music store and DVDs, and they had a Buckethead section. And I had heard about Buckethead in the past, and I knew about him, but I couldn't believe I'm in a store and there's a Buckethead DVD, and I bought it, and then I just of course watched it for years. Secret Recipe. I mean, I just drive my friends crazy because I just watch it all the time,
Yeah, I need to go back and rewatch them because, dude, you can't not. They're so good.
Yeah, even the Secret Recipe though. I mean, he does. I don't. There's nothing of him talking on that whole DVD. I don't think so. But even like you said, you could still see that wholesomeness to him. Even just when he's doing stuff in his backyard, he's digging holes, he's doing all this silly stuff, playing basketball with Maximum Bob.
Yeah, I know. It's just something you just can't not love. And like this is the one that I want is was it Brain's worst drum instructional
Yeah.
game ever? Like dude, the carpet roll.
Yeah.
And it's it's one of my favorite scenes ever. And then he walks away and he's like, ah, ah.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, like, that is, in some ways, I think that is that thing where he's, well, like he puts it, and I think that's true. I read some article where I think he said he's more him. It enables, like, when he wears the mask and he's on set, that enables more him. And technically, if you wanted to say, okay, Buckethead is the character, I guess, like, if we really want to talk about, do you remember, like, that? It's like a video clip where he's like, what do you do with a little chainsaw, and Les Claypool's sitting there, and he comes around and
yeah.
stuff. But that is him at the same time, because that's him having fun and his things
being himself, really, yeah.
Yeah, so it truly is that, and I think that's why, it's all him. So
yeah, if anything, it's kind of like you said, like it honestly, it allows him to be more of himself than he could be any other way. Being behind the mask and everything. That interview you were talking about with him, yeah, he can go do nunchucks on stage and do the dances and stuff. But
yeah,
it's awesome.
I do. I think it's fantastic, and I think if you can use truly, I mean, this is literally how I think he is, but he affects everyone the same way, in the fact that I think we get very inspired and love him, but we get passionate. We start working with that passion in our own individual way.
Right.
We go into we love, but it's because of, our passion and interest, which is mainly Buckethead, right? I mean, for me, he gives all my ideas, literally. It's natural, and it's just like, dude, like, we're all, like, if you love Buckethead, dude, he is, like, legit, I mean, we all know this. I don't really say more. It's, he is just, there's no one like him.
I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, who can you compare him to? Like, who could you even point to that's even anything remotely like him? There's nothing else.
Yeah. Really, you know what? The one thing that I would say, honestly, that probably would be closest to him, and it's still again not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, still so far from being even comparable. But I think, honestly, and this is it. I think the bucket bots, we all have certain traits or related moments and feelings similar to Buckethead, and you can see it because you can see it in the bucket bots and what they do in their own way.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, no question. I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm sure you think you see it in me. I for sure see it in you with the stuff you do. I mean, there's an art to what you do for sure. And I mean, I've looked at your stuff, and I mean, you're not like anybody else I've ever seen. As soon as I saw your stuff, I'm like, of course she's in the Buckethead. I mean, look at the style, look at the art that's into it. I mean, you putting yourself into it. It's got to come from finding Buckethead. I would think it's had to have some influence on you finding Buckethead. I mean.
Oh yeah, like the biggest one, and it's that like I said, I might mention this in my introduction video more, but that was something for me. I think now when I have that first, like that, because it needed a video with it to capture the essence and the journey to match that photography, and like that, I had this idea that came from listening, where you just knew the lights, you knew the exact
yeah
angles and scenes you wanted, and with that, yeah, it's that turned out to be literally something where I go, well, maybe I'll just do this for me, and who cares if anyone likes it, and then I'll be so the greatest thing I've ever done. No, it's like I finally understood. This is actually the concept and the thing I've been looking to try and do, but there's the healing journey in it, and it's very symbolic of, I guess, that literally that whole time where I think I sort of think it took like the first 6 months with Buckethead, and then going through the motions and just completely going from down here to up here. Like, you know, he changes your life. He really does. We love you, Buckethead. Thank you. If you're ever
Yeah.
watching this, love you. You know.
God, I hope so.
But we want to know more about you and Buckethead. So I got to stop tangenting. What am I going to say? Yeah, with the rarity of Buckethead, literally. I mean, there's absolutely no one like him. But yeah, I would say if there's anyone that understands or at least has a small part of him in them, it's the Bucket Bots. If anything, I don't think I would.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
The first time you said bucket bot earlier, like very soon in the interview, like it took me back to being like literally like 15 years old, and like, you know, I found Buckethead when I was probably 13 or 14, but you know, like at the birth of YouTube, when YouTube was just coming around, that's when I found out about Buckethead. But immediately I wanted to hear everything I wanted to hear all of his stuff. I wanted to listen to every album, and then bucket bots. I mean, they were all over the internet way back then, like on forums and stuff. I found, you know, you'd find all this stuff, bucket bots and Herbie and all this stuff. I'm like, it was already a huge community even way back then, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's something too that I really notice is well, like everyone says too, Buckethead's comment section is different, you know.
Yeah.
And it is, man, right? But I think there's something that with him, because he's just so himself, that he truly finds the people that love him for him and truly love his music for what it is, that it never really goes away. It can't. I think he's someone who's always going to have that foundation of people who love and support him, no matter what. You know, it's not something like, oh, you know, oh, I used to be into that, but not anymore. You know, I think there's genuine love and appreciation, and because he is so rare, it's like when you find that perfect,
Yeah.
that perfect song, it's like nothing is the same.
Yeah. And even if you're somebody that doesn't listen to him all the time or something, and you found that love for him way back in the day, and you, like, you know, you go a few months, you don't hear a song by him or something, you're one of those kind of people, I mean, or years or whatever, you can't ever forget it. Like you said, it's like just something different. Like, he's so different. Like, you revisit it, and it's just, you know, it's just as magical when you revisit it 10 years later.
Yeah. You know, I think it's literally, well, yeah, like that, I guess. It's I mean, like, I listen to him every day, right? But I have my own thing where I don't go in order of like numbers or anything. I go with what I'm vibing with.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's you know, if you want to listen to Buckethead, there's like, look, come on, you want to listen to him, and just nothing is going to be close to it.
Yeah.
His entire being is different, but he sounds different, and there's something that I think we all know is technically gifted. We all know that very emotionally expressive, but he's got something else to him. And
no, it's definitely something special. I mean, there's definitely a magic to it, like you said. And even, you know, what mood are you in? You know, you might want to hear something heavy sometimes in the car or something, or you might want to listen to something super soft and just go to sleep listening to it. I mean, when I was a teenager, I had headphones in all the time, just falling asleep listening to albums or YouTube songs of them.
Do you remember your first song again? Like, when I listened to him, immediately I knew that there were songs that were just the most beautiful thing that I'd ever heard. Songs that were just great and like, you know, just really hit the soul different. And you go, yeah, this is amazing. So you already knew he was amazing. But then there's not a song, I think we all have a song in that discography that feels like he literally wrote that for you, you know, that truly then took you into that next place where you start wondering, like, dude, what realm is this guy from? He's amazing.
Oh, if you want to talk about like super deep feelings like that, then I mean, well, let me say probably the first song I heard by him was was Jordan, probably like most people back. I mean, like I said, YouTube hadn't been around that long. So what's the craziest guitar video on YouTube? It's Buckethead playing Jordan. What the heck is this? You can do that with a guitar? It's
Mhm.
insanity. So who is
Yeah.
this guy? I want to know everything about him.
Yeah.
That was my first experience. It was actually my brother-in-law who I make the videos with now when I was probably 13. I mean, his close friend had showed him Buckethead through Buckethead's guitar player, some magazine that he had a DVD with or something where it was the instructional DVD. You know, he doesn't talk, but it's like just him, scratching the wall, doing weird stuff, and then shredding and stuff. And you're just like, what? I can't believe this. Who is this guy? And then I saw Jordan after that, and then just down the rabbit hole I went. But as far as like something personal to me, I mean, well, let me just tell you my favorite three albums is Monsters and Robots, Coma, and Electric Tears. And probably the album, well, how can I pick just one? But all three of those I would have on a CD player, just I don't know, just one after the other. Listen to them every night as I'm going to bed and stuff. And if I had to say one, I can't put it as one song, but one album as far as like a deeper connection is that soft stuff in Coma. Like that
Mhm.
inspired me. That changed the way I play guitar. I mean, as far as like I don't know, like you can make music like this, like just
Yeah.
I had a little looper pedal and stuff where it just you play a few little soft little chord progressions or something and it just loops on repeat and then you play these soft lead parts over it and I might sit there and I'll do it for 11 minutes just vibing out in this zone in this space from however I'm feeling at that moment, whatever's coming out from the chords and then playing over top. But all that had to have come from just listening to Coma every night because I feel like Coma, that's what Buckethead was doing. Like he was just like, I mean, that's what he's doing with everything he does, really. But I don't know, something about it, I connected with it. Like I could just, I don't
Yeah.
know, like it seems like his soul is just in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think was it? It was Machete was.
Oh, I love Machete so much.
Yeah. The first five songs I remember what they were that I heard that I really connected with, and Machete I can't remember. I think it might have been the third. The third song. I think I was it. I think Soothsayer was the first. Then
Yep.
might have been Nottingham Lace or the Redeem Team.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
funny. All those are the same for me. I gotta say that. Uh,
yeah,
Soothsayer is one of the first songs. That's got to be the first song I heard by him. When you go back to your original question, where the first song I heard where I had that crazy connection, definitely Soothsayer. Heard
yeah.
that and was like, oh man, beautiful, but also, just shredding the lights out. And then Nottingham Lace is probably my favorite Buckethead song all time. I mean,
Oh,
that's got to be that's probably the greatest guitar solo I've ever heard.
that
I
is.
mean,
I'll let you finish. Yeah.
oh no, I was just gonna say he shreds through it like unbelievably fast, but then toward the end there's this part where he's just like doing these huge bends like from note to note and like it's so emotional, impactful sounding, just bending so oh my god, it's like I've never heard bends that good since or before.
Yeah. That Nottingham Lace is like it just reminds me of like it's a literal like that definition of a composition. Like
Yeah,
like you said, it's nuts with the soloing in there, and but with that, it's got that like the rocky vibe to it, but then it's very much it's got that passion, and there's still something in it that's very soulful.
oh
With
so soulful.
like he's good at that. He's good at that. When you listen to something and you're like,
Yeah,
how is this
if
somehow?
anytime anyone ever asks me what's my favorite song all time, I always say Nottingham Lace Buckethead. That's my favorite song ever because of what you just said. The technical ability is unparalleled at anything ever, and but at the same time, I mean, I've never heard anybody play guitar so insane like that. But like you said, have all that soul in it at the same time. You see technical ability everywhere you look. Little kids can do it.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. But not where I can feel his emotion and his passion and his spirit in the song. Like, I mean, it's crazy.
yeah. That's something that I think is just like he's a like I have no words to describe, and I'm still, we didn't even know what it is. He's that brilliant, which says a lot because it's like I don't know, he has something very special, and I can't even work it out.
Yeah.
But, Nottingham Lions, Machete, the Redeem Team, and like all of these, I kept hitting in that sort of like rough order, and then the Redeem Team, and then Machete was one where I stopped, and I was like, I think I had a tangent about it on like Facebook or Instagram, and I was like, everyone shut up. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever. And I'm
just imagine being me. Just imagine being me now and being like 14 years old and listening to Machete when you're going to sleep at night. Imagine that. How crazy that was for me to have those experiences that young in my life where, I mean, I felt the same way you're talking now when I was a young teenager.
Yeah, I want to go back into my question, but it's true, yeah, because when I just never heard or felt anything like Buckethead before. It's just beyond there's no veil in front. It's not like you're listening to him through the headphones and you're separate. You're truly like you start entering his energy and you're like in his music.
Yeah, it's something special for sure.
Yeah, and then Machete. That's just a mysterious sort of a mysterious, elegant, powerful beauty to that. That is, look, there's more words to describe.
You couldn't explain it any better than how you just said it.
There's something so beautifully elegant to it, but it's a lot of power behind it.
And it is some mysterious to it as well, like you said.
Yeah.
The way it starts and everything, it's like a different vibe to it. It's a different feel, and then the solo is just so soulful and amazing.
Yeah, that's where I lost my shit. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, I did. That was like, my gosh. I went, oh. Like, almost when you just like, oh my God, everyone stop what you're doing. Like, there's like what you're doing right now doesn't matter, right? Because
yeah,
it's just so good.
That's amazing. I mean, some people don't, I don't know. Some people are different. Like you can't explain it to them sometimes. I mean, you can show them stuff, but not everybody connects with the same stuff. But I had an amazing guitar player friend when I was a teenager that like. My way of impressing him with Buckethead was like, look at these sweeps he can do. Look at this amazing stuff he could do, But at the same time, I'm as amazed by him when I'm listening to Machete or something like that, like you said, where you just can't believe it.
Yeah, it's I think very much that, I don't know, because that's the thing. I think some of us do definitely have some form of thing that we don't know about, some sort of connection to him. Because I think some people can truly understand, and I think when you understand him, you connect just really well, and you just like everything he does makes like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's of course. Yeah.
Right.
I think though, necessarily like say, even if you're not into the rock genres or anything like that, I do believe though still that everyone would have more than one song that I think would connect to.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's very much you could listen to 30 songs of his, right? And that's not enough, because what if the next one was actually a genre or something that you really would have clicked with, and you stopped at the first 30 songs? Like you.
Yeah.
At least go through 100 to make sure that you put, like, that's what I truly think. At least 100 before you can sort of even make any form of judgment. Because
I mean, I don't know how you could get to 100 without making a judgment, even though. I mean, especially if you're bouncing around, like you said, through the different genres. I mean, it doesn't take very long before you're like, okay, this guy can do everything. Musically, he can do everything.
yeah. Yeah.
I can show him to my father-in-law that's not into rock music at all. I can be like, oh look, listen to this bluegrass stuff that Buckethead plays, this chicken picking stuff, you know, and he can appreciate and understand it because he's a guitar player that plays that style of music.
Yeah. So has your creativity grown since working like with Buckethead, like listening to him? Do you find that you've, which I mean, well, like, because you've listened to him for a long time, you're probably gonna say, yeah, since 13, like,
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like well, by the time I started making movies, I mean, I've already been listening to them for years and years, but I definitely, even for, I mean, I made episode 1 after I woke up and I thought about how I wanted to do it, and all that just popped in, like, okay, he shouldn't have the mask, he should just have bandages, you know, all those kind of things. It came together, and then the second episode, you know, it was just pretty much a natural flow. But then when I started getting to the Death Cube K thing, I mean, even that was inspiring. It was just like, I was like, well, let me just listen to some Death Cube K songs. And like, oh man, as soon as I heard that one song again, I forget the name of it now, but I was like, oh, I could see the movie right away. Like I could see the face reveal of Death Cube K right away. Just that jun jun, you know.
yeah.
It's like, oh, it's got to be just him. Oh, there he's got to be standing, just, you know. So yeah, he, you know, super inspiring. As far as like, especially musically, I mean, I would never be the guitar. I'd never play the way or express myself the way I do on guitar if I didn't, you know, learn from his creativity and creative in filmmaking. I mean, growing up watching that Secret Recipe just over and over. I mean, what is that? That's just him and his friends having fun with a video camera around the house, and that's all I'm doing now.
But I love it, though. It's so good. This is, yeah, this just literally, we don't know what he done. I feel everyone's got their own ability, right? That they're really good at something, and I feel like he lets you know what that is. So he comes in and he's just like,
Yeah,
here's all these abilities you didn't know you had. Try it out. Like,
yeah,
but you have this confidence to go, hey, I might do that. Like,
right.
yeah, that's that. That's his. I don't know. That's. Let's call it the Buckethead effect. I don't know. I forget what the butterfly effect is. That's something.
Yeah,
It's not the effect. The Buckethead effect is something
yeah.
else. Yeah, dude, he's so enlightening. Dude, he's a spiritual guru. And I don't think that's nuts to say. Look, I think Bucket Boys will know exactly. Exactly. They'll be like, oh yeah, yeah, F yeah.
Right, for sure.
The rest of the world, I don't know, but maybe, you know, oh, who cares? You
I
know?
mean, just look at this. I mean,
Oh, wait, did you paint that?
no, that's Barbara Teleki. She's an awesome
Oh,
artist and guitar player.
yeah,
That's the thumbnail from one of my our videos she painted.
that's beautiful. Oh, his eyes, but like the glow.
Oh, I know, it's incredible. It looks better than than the video picture.
I'm sure that, like, it already looks pretty wild. That's, just saying that though, I bought her the Blue Lotus painting. So I've got to collect that actually from my little parcel collection.
Oh, really?
On Saturday now. But yeah, I bought one of her paintings, and see, this one's saying again. I think I discovered her because of you.
Oh, really?
Because I saw, I think you told me. I've seen her on Instagram before, and I think I can't remember. I think I'd followed her, and I'd seen a few of her like guitar videos, and then it was when I watched was it Synchronicity?
Yeah. That's what I was going to mention, that song actually. She let me put it in my video.
Yeah.
It's called A Lunar Cycle. That's one of my top 10 favorite songs I've ever heard by anyone.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's so cool. I mean, she's inspired by Buckethead. Back to the whole Buckethead effect. I mean, it's just mind blowing to me. It comes full circle how somebody can be inspired like that and then, create a piece of music that's a piece of themselves. It's this. I listen to that song by Barbara and think the same thing I think about a Buckethead song. Like, oh, I could just feel where she was at when she made the song.
You know what I noticed about that song specifically was the first thing I thought, it has that metaphysical something to it where look, this is something that again, it's like Buckethead does this and not many others can, but I felt it there when I was what Synchronicity was the film, yeah. But so Lunar Cycle, that had something that Buckethead has.
Yeah, I'm happy you said that because yeah, that's one of my favorite songs ever. And it doesn't even matter what type of music it is. I connect with things like that. It could be something like that doesn't have guitar in it at all. It's almost like a spiritual connection. Like you can, I don't know. It's
Mhm.
unexplainable to me, really.
Yeah, I like that's what I say. A lot of things are, but I go at the same time. I got my curious brain working that kind of thinks it knows or wants to
Yeah,
keep thinking about it. Like
yeah,
I find things to make sense of, but yeah, she does have that. There was that spiritual something to it that it's not just atmospheric and uh what is it? It's not just like that ambient or atmospheric kind of mistake. There's something more to it, and it's
yeah, for sure. I love that atmospheric kind of
that,
stuff too. That ambient, atmospheric, and then just the soul just comes out. And as soon as that guitar comes in, it's like, oh
mm,
wow. And she'll
yeah,
she'll love she'll love you saying that too. I mean, we all love hearing this stuff because that's why we make the stuff because it's coming from within us. You know what I mean? And we just express it out. And then when someone else understands it and when they connect with it, it's like, I mean, what's better than that, really?
well, absolutely. I think that's kind of what I would gather from my own experience, and just my experience then, I guess, with then truly, being affected by someone else's like art would be, I imagine it's going to, like it does, it feels really good when people understand or get that, and they're like, wow, like, but the way it's communicated, what they converse, how they say it, I mean, there's always that, that inner meaning specifically that I think the artist always has, which is, it's always deep rooted in there. But you'll find that some people usually they're gonna pick up on that, even if it's very much, they don't just say shit for the sake of it.
Yeah.
There's something there, and then it's just like I don't know what the hell this is, but no, we're gonna get rid of that word. I don't know what the heavens this is, but it's definitely coming from up there somewhere. That's
Yeah.
yeah. Just like Buckethead, like I said, I can't figure out exactly what the word is of something that he has, but I think Barbara had that in there. That same something that I don't know what it is, but it had that essence of that soulfulness, but again, yeah, it's different. It's like from another realm.
It's
I
just
don't
like
know.
it's like it had to be made, you know what I mean? Like it had to exist.
Yeah. Oh, it was beautiful. And what were we even we're going back to? That was the Buckethead effect, right? Yeah. And then how it connects people again. So, and how everyone, you know, has their own unique gifts that he just shows you. It's great. I think, that's dude, I don't know, it just blows my mind every time you think about it, It's